I have always hated the phrase, "it gets better," and I would like to tell you why. But first, I'm going to be talking about the topics of suicide and suicidal ideation. September is Suicide Awareness Month, and as that is something that you cannot handle, please, I'm asking you to take care of yourself and to scroll on. Please take care of you, choose to stay, but scroll on if that is too much for you. And secondly, I have used the buzzwords before of like unalived and those kind of things, but I'm going to be using the actual words. In order to do that, I'd like to ask you if you're okay with that to interact with this post so it can gain traction. As somebody who has suffered from suicidal ideation for the majority of her life, I think what I have to share in this topic and answer this question is really important, and I'd like it to get into the algorithm. Loneliness and chronic singleness can impact your mental health in a detrimental way to the point where you don't want to be alive. That is a truth, and I think sometimes we downplay when people talk about wanting romantic connection and we act like it's no big deal, when in reality it is a very big deal. And part of this question that is asked here I want to read that didn't get put into this, and it says, when I think of living every day with this heavy burden, it's too much to carry. I feel that it's impossible for me to find a solution. When someone loses hope in life, they want to give up. Will anything ever change? And I appreciate that question and appreciate your vulnerability in sharing that with me. And I want you to know that, first of all, I hear you and I see you, and I am so sorry that you have to live with that level of pain. I am so sorry that the loneliness has gripped you to that point, and I want you to know that you're not alone. I have been in that path of loneliness and have existed in it for decades at a time, and I know that there are many people who also can relate to the level of that loneliness. Please know that if there were words that I could say that would take any amount of pain away from you like that, I would speak forever. I would speak forever, because you're not deserving of that type of pain. You're deserving of the love that you seek and that you want in your life. And I'm so sorry that you haven't found it yet and that it's caused you to feel this way. So please know, I'm sending you so much love, and I want to validate that these feelings are deep and real. And I'm sad that you have to feel them. I have struggled with suicidal ideation since I was 12 years old after a traumatic incident. For those who don't know, suicidal ideation, I mean, there's lots of kind of definitions of it, but really it's this idea of like wanting to not be alive anymore. It doesn't have to be that you're just making a plan. It's literally just that feeling of like not wanting to be alive. Or for me, what would happen is that when I would struggle with these deep feelings, it was almost like the thoughts became their own balm, and it would like take away the deep feelings. So I would get in this pattern of like feeling so lonely and upset that I would have those thoughts, and the thought of like being done with that pain would feel so alleviating that I would continue to think those things, and then it would just like spiral. So the phrase "it gets better," I know that my feelings on this topic aren't everybody's feelings, and some people might really appreciate that phrase, and I think that that's great. For me, I just want to explain a little bit about why it was hard. It gets better is too big, too ambiguous, and so I was able to kind of push that aside and say, but not for me. But not for my problems, because what is the it? Everybody's is going to be so different, and what is the better? And in my head, it was like I had a list of all these things that were difficult, and the loneliness was a large part of that, and then the better of all the things I needed to have happen. And so when someone would say that, and they didn't know me, or they didn't know my experience, I would say, but that's not for me, and it's not true, because until this can go away, and this can be filled, then there is no better, and there is no conversation. So for me, what has been really helpful is this idea that like life can surprise us and life will surprise us, and that sometimes my mind is an unreliable narrator, that it has created these patterns of these absolutes, this feeling like even in the comment of like it's always going to be that way. You don't know that. I don't know that. Now, I don't know that you're going to have what you need and what you want right around the corner. I don't know that the problems that you're facing are going to for sure go away if you just give it time. But I do know, and my life has taught me, that life will surprise you and can surprise you. I cannot tell you the depth of my hopelessness and disbelief that my life could find this path right now, that I could be in a relationship with someone and be experiencing love. That was not something that I ever believed. And so that's why I say that life will surprise you, but also that our brains are unreliable narrators, because what they're trying to do isn't to have you stay in the moment, isn't to have you deal with what is going on for you. It's trying to like fix the pain by like people have said in the past, like a temporary solution or a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Even if that problem is chronic, it's still a solution that doesn't look at all the other variables, including that we don't know what's going to happen for us. The other thing that was really hard for me is when people tried to say, because I've been living for my family my whole life. I've been living for other people my whole life because I am the type of person that didn't want to pass on pain to them. I think that most people that are in this depth of pain don't want to give that to somebody else. But there comes this tipping point where it's like, but I'm carrying it all the time. It's with me all the time. So like at some stage you're kind of like, well, what about my pain and what I need? And I need it to end. And so I think for me, even before Max, I don't want people to be like, well, you got a relationship and that's what fixed your loneliness pain. That's not true. You can go back and look at videos of mine, even before him. What did it for me was beginning that separation between my worth and my value and my purpose as a human isn't connected to whether I have somebody in my life or not. Will that be painful to exist in and to live in? Yeah, for many years it was painful and difficult. I will say to you that my mid-30s, where you are right now, it was one of the hardest time. Something happened for me at 40 that clicked over into it's still painful, but it's a pain I can manage. And then that shifted even more when I realized that my worth didn't need to be attached to this, and I began the work of separating that. No, I'm not saying that that's gonna like hurt or save your problem or fix your issue with loneliness. All I'm saying is that in the end, we don't know. We don't know. And in the end, I think what's really important is that we have one life. We have one life, one beautiful life that's filled with complexity. The pain is there, but so is the goodness. And so I'm asking you to just sit with me for a moment and sit in the possibility of like, we don't know what life will bring. Life can surprise you, and I hope deeply that it surprises you for the good. I need you to know that the ripple impact of you on this earth is large. Even you for me, this comment that was left for me, I have thought about you and I have been altered in my perception of myself because of you. The world needs each of us. We are intricately connected. And so I'm asking you to choose to stay and asking that you find small ways to withstand the loneliness and know that you are worthy of everything that you seek that is good in this life. And I wish I could promise you that it would stay that way. But I do know that the lies in our brains that it will always be hard are also not truths. So why people can't guarantee you that it will get better, your brain is telling you it never will, and that's not true either. And so I would rather take the risk of you being here, of me being here, and seeing where life goes than to leave the play early. Don't leave the play early. Finish out the act and find the support in your life that helps you get there to lessen the pain that you feel. But I'm rambling now because I just feel like I know how hard it is what I'm asking you to do. But I also know that there's goodness on the other side of it. And it's not goodness like your dreams will come true and all of your wishes will like check off. It's goodness in that there's purpose in each day, in each moment. And I hope we can find it for yourself and for one another. And I hope I continue to find it when I still fall into those. I have been given everything that I have ever wanted when it came to a relationship. And sometimes I still struggle to want to stay alive. And that just shows you that it's not about what we get at the end result. Sorry for the ramble. And if you made it this far, thank you. But choose to stay. If you're suffering, I'm sorry. I'm sending you love, and I wish that I could alleviate that suffering. You matter, you're worth it, and I want you and need you. The world wants you and needs you here. Sending love.